Hi, this is BZ Rieger, and I'm with Sheila Corona and Lisa Flamino Rush, and this is a quantum playground, and we're playing quantum baseball, as near as we can tell. So this came from a nudge, probably 3 weeks back, maybe a little long. Let's see. Oh, that long ago, January 12th. At 8:31 p.m. I'm reading an email that I sent to these guys. And the nudge was to play in the quantum field, and the whole metaphor that came around it was baseball and innings and fielding the ball and all those kinds of things. So I'm calling it quantum baseball. And the three of us are here. One will be the pitcher and pitching a question, and one will be the batter and and hitting the question back, answering it, playing with it. The other is fielding the ball and holding with the other three, but has a leading role in holding the energetic envelope for the most expansive pitch and the most expansive whack of the ball. So say that. And I'll just read a couple little bits from this email, which was me putting in the nudge into linear words and sending it in an email. I'm sensing we are not running the game or the innings, and that's us three in the shirts. It's us three up here that are, or actually in toto, which we'll build our muscles to become more of. We are creating the coherence in the structure of the cohesive field within the energetic envelope, which has been quantumed up. One of the questions that I had through all this nudge, and oddly enough, Lisa and Sheila had the exact same questions about the question. I was funnily told, as in haha, quit doing that, to let go of my attachment to the question. The question is the ball, and how we connect with it, each other, our all, in open heart brings the different degrees of magic onto the field of play. So you all who've joined us in this energetic envelope now know what we know. So what part of the instructions is to do is part of these will be a series. Each inning is about 5 to 7 minutes or so, and we'll close the energetic envelope and then open another one. We may just pause the recording and then decide maybe we just start it up again, and this is inning 2, but we'll do it. If I have to edit it, I can edit it. Anyways, so I would say the first thing we do is just connect in a more intentional way. Usually we do that when we're doing other quantum playgrounds or the conscious conversation, central conversations. We do it by thinking about what we're going to play with and the title or focus, and then go from there. So,
well, I'd like to say something before we begin. I am drinking a hot tea, but I have been since before we started. So whatever we're about to do is huge, as I am now sweating. That's real, because in 5 minutes I'll be freezing.
Yeah. And someone just asked, well, what's the point of the game? And for me, I would ask that just the fun of playing it, and to play in a different way, and to step onto the field after having thanked your ego mind very much for all of its contributions heretofore from the moment you began in this envelope about quantum baseball, and to just let it all go. And we're the last thing I'll read from this email here is, these are some of the imageries and senses that I perceived from this nudge. Playing on the field together in a focused, intentional, non-attached way, feeling the moves as we field the ball, building our muscles for a bigger field, much support and camaraderie flowing from the dugout as we practice for the major leagues. So I would say the point would be to play, to be, to connect, to try something new without having any idea, quote unquote, how to do it. And my sense for me and my sense for the triad that is Lisa, Sheila, and BC, and I have a sense that this goes for each triad here. So the 9, it goes for every other being out there. But I'll just speak with where I started from with me and then 3 of us, is that it's really helpful to build our muscles in this way of playing and trying, experiencing new things without understanding all of it, because that's going to be part of how we tangibly materialize the new earth and all the system structures, everything around us personally and collectively in community, how we engage with our galactic community, how we will be able to go play when we're invited, to have connections with other frequency beings, other dimensional beings, other beings that are the same frequency and dimension that we are, just not from locally around here.
Well, I'd like to say that my sense of this has been from the very beginning. You stated it in the email in regards to quantum muscle building. Mm-hmm. And you also stated in regards to doing something in a new way, which I immediately saw the benefit of, because if we're not used to playing in the fantastical, mm-hmm. which is really where everything begins in the imagination and then is pulled into the physical. There's nothing that exists on this plane now that wasn't dreamt up in some other realm first. Right. And so we're not used to thinking that way. And so I think that's what this could help me with most specifically. And then, any and all beings that want to play at this going forward, because that's kind of, we get taught we're supposed to put down all that imagination and play.
Right.
When we become adults.
Right. It's funny. I just had a very clear vision and beyond a nudge, a directive that we post a flyer for the different upcoming quantum baseball game practice sessions, we'll say. And somewhere it's just the 3 of us, somewhere, we're having open practice. And if, it's between X and X, and this is where it'll be. And if you want to come play, come play. And, we might do it where we just have a couple other people come, or if you want to come and be absolutely focused to this energetic envelope for the time that we're playing the different innings, which means, no distractions, no getting up and leaving, no that kind of stuff, because you're part of playing on the field, even if you're not hitting the ball or pitching the ball or those kinds of things. Anyway, so that, I love that. That's a fun way to invite others to play as well. And so that could mean that, you're see how it goes, but more involved or less involved. So you're involved in holding the energetic envelope, even if you're not sure you want a time up at bat or up on the mound, just to use those metaphors.
I think that's an absolutely cool idea.
Yes, me too. Boy, this email excited me for many reasons. One, because it came with this shock of energy that just ran through my whole body, and of course it's here again. So that was exciting. And then as I was reading through it, I was having a conversation with it, and I got hung up on the question. And by the second time I said, but I don't understand the question, please. The next sentence I read directly mentioned, worry about the question. Right. And I was like, okay. And I can see, I don't know, I like what we do too, because I can see where I already do this in one degree or another. And I like the inning idea where we're all sort of trading chances to, have different positions that we play, because I think for me personally, that's going to be really important, that I learn I almost feel like I want to practice writing with my non-dominant hand, like I want to become ambidextrous, meaning, yeah, to me, that's really limit free, right? Where I got this no matter what's coming at me. And so this feels like a safe way to play with that, to really, something that happens in Stargate that we've been watching is the sparring. And I'm really attracted to that. And I don't like fighting, and I'm not into any of that. But this is more like, the sparring is more like martial arts, where you're just sort of dealing with what is, right? It's not an aggressive, it's not an attack. It's just more how to be fluid, like how to not be there so you don't make contact with that. And so I like that it's about sort of honing those skills, those, like you called them, these are our quantum skills. This is our multidimensionality coming on board and utilizing it so that, so that I'm cohesive in here.
Right.
And that's the one thing I've always done with these conversations is I will ground myself and prepare for the meeting, and then I will actively call in my I am presence. And I continually remind myself that, my I am presence is, it's a sacred moment. These envelopes are sacred to me. It's how I approach them. And so I think that's kind of exciting too for others to play with doing that if you hadn't before. Because, well, what it's done for me is it helps me to notice what's going on in the room, whatever it is that I'm going into. I like to sort of go in energetically first and get a feel for it. And what I like to do is I set a frequency for myself and for what I always say this, I require a certain level of frequency in order to feel comfortable in my body. Well, there's a lot of rooms that don't have that frequency available. Right. So if I don't bring it and sustain it, it won't be present. And that's too uncomfortable for me. Mm-hmm. So I bring it and then I hold it. And through the process of doing that, I've learned a lot. I've been able to interact on levels I didn't know I had available to me. And it was from consciously doing that. So I think this is really exciting because I think that, even though I've already participated, the energy that's present is telling me that I have a lot to learn from this game with the three of us. So I'm really excited about that. And B, I think it's really exciting to consciously play in these ways.
Yeah.
To create new ways of communicating and how we cooperate and how we co-create together. So I just think this is wonderful on many levels, and I'm super grateful.
Cool.
So thank you.
You know, something you just said there brought up a couple examples, you know, on things that you can bring this forward, bring it out into larger scape. So right here, we're playing because we're all together. We're together via the energetic envelope. Because everything is energy, we can be together whenever we choose to be. We don't have to actually be physically standing next to each other. And so
often we are not.
Right.
I mean, I have noticed that the three of us, and there are others that this takes place with, can be standing right next to each other and states and states and states away,
right,
all at the same time.
Right. So this is a way to kind of televise this game that we're playing. You know, we're just playing a pickup game, so to say, you know, in our neighborhood, and we can broadcast it so others can come in and play with that. That was one of the things that came to mind, and also that this is a great game to play, a great tool, and the muscles to build. You know, you're getting fit, you're getting in shape with all of this, so that when you go out in the world to the job, to if you're having a conversation, or a lot of people say, well, you know, how do I wake people up? How do I do these different things? How do I ask these questions or answer these things? Well, this would be a really good usable tool to play with that when you're in various different conversations, you know. And you could, you know, if this is someone that you have conversations with on a fairly regular basis, they may notice that there's something different about you, and you could say, well, I'm playing quantum baseball while we have this conversation, and there's a conversation starter for you. So go with it. Okay. Yeah. What I'd like to do is have us pause this for a moment. They're going to finish raking the field, and we'll come back on with inning one, so to say. Okay, so we're back. Field's all ready to go, and Lisa's going to pitch the balls. Sheila's going to bat the balls, and I'm going to hold the space.
Lovely. Well, welcome to this inning, where I will be the pitcher of the question. Are you ready, Sheila? Okay. So I ask a question, right?
Whatever comes from
throw something out there. Okay. So Sheila, can you share with us something about these conversations? You know, the conversations between the three of us specifically, that you could point to that has been extremely helpful for you?
Well, my goodness, all of it. I mean, from the very beginning of it, becoming more conscious of myself, just the trusting factor has really come up a lot for me, trusting myself and what I get. I mean, it's really hard for me personally to choose any one particular thing, because all of it from the very beginning has been helpful in ways that I don't even know if I could really illuminate, because there are so many, and they're multidimensional, actually, in the ways that all of these conversations, actually not just the ones between the three of us, of course, the ones between you and I on a daily basis. And I think the most see, it's really hard. I was trying to figure out if there's one thing over another that has been the most helpful. The trusting of myself, even even when it makes no sense. And I also, okay. All right. Okay. So the absolute biggest thing for me in all of these conversations has been the finally identifying what my own process is and being okay with it. And the fact that it doesn't look anything like anyone else's, and understanding that that is actually by design, because each one of us will go through that. That's the biggest thing for me, and trusting in that process. And like I said, being okay with that, because not everyone understands that. And or the fact that it may look wholly inaccurate to some. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, being okay with that, because it's not for me to say whether you think it is or not. It's for me to say whether it is or not for me.
Right. Not to answer my own question, but I would kind of like to add something.
I would love it if you would.
Yeah. I have to say, these conversations between the three of us have stretched me in the most surprising and unexpected ways. Because it's like the things I thought were my strong points kind of aren't always. And the things that I think I need to work on seem to be my strong point. And that's kind of interesting. So I like how these conversations between the three of us show me more parts and pieces of myself. So I really value these conversations. And this game in particular, as that felt like a huge stretch to ask Sheila to come up with a question.
Yeah.
And start. So.
Well, and I love just holding the space. I love that one of the things I interjected was with intentionality into this space was a comfort level for all, in the positions they were playing. And so I love that. So Lisa felt that, played with it, and then went on to, I'm not sure what this move in baseball is called, but she was pitching and batting to herself at the same time.
I didn't know if that was right, but it sounds good.
I mean, talk about a utility player, right?
Sorry.
No, don't. Absolutely.
No, it worked busy all of a sudden because I'm sweating like you cannot imagine. Which is just silly. Anyway, I thought I was just going to throw up. By the time we got the question out. I know it's silly, but it's real. And I looked at BZ, and I just went, like I could just feel, breathe. And so I did. And I relaxed. And then the more Sheila talked, then I was like, oh yeah, this is good. I'm fine. So that was kind of interesting. I did not expect to feel all of that.
And you had the excitement of I know I'm not supposed to ask the question, but I'm going to ask it and answer it, and to me. So I'd say it's already working to build these muscles.
Yeah, that felt really good.
Okay, all right. So hit pause. All right, we're back for, I don't know, inning 2Q.
I like it.
Lisa is going to be batter up, and I'm going to be pitching, and Sheila's going to be holding the whole field, outfield and infield.
Thank you, friend.
So, Lisa, I wanted to play with the question with you. In the last inning, right, there was it was almost like as you were what, just to use baseball manager, so you sent the first pitch, Sheila was hitting it and you're watching it, you know, okay, it's way out there, right? And as that was wrapping up, there felt to be a click or another wind up coming. Could you explain, if you can tune back into that, what that felt within your energetic body, your emotional body, and your mental body? So that place between when you finished the first pitch and then pitched to yourself.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay, so when she was speaking at first, I was still kind of reeling, right? And I had trouble listening or taking, tracking what she was saying. And then I was able to sort of just breathe and relax. And then I could hear her and track what she was saying. And I liked what she was saying, and then it was calling forth something in me that wanted to be expressed, which surprised me a little, because then I was like, oh wait, we're playing this game, and I can't remember the rules exactly. Am I supposed to do that? And the push got stronger. And then I started to feel a little buzzy, a little energy behind it. And then I had that moment of, okay, so what are you going to do? What are you going to do with this? And so then I just decided I'm going to go for it. I don't know if it's against the rules or whatever, because I kind of went, oh, is there rules? And I think we just created this. And I had this whole conversation go on. And then when I said to myself, just play and have fun. And if it feels like something that wants to come out, don't repress it.
Right.
And then that's when I went, well, I don't know if this is right. And when I jumped in, I felt this immediate relief, like of the stress or the tension maybe. And then I felt almost like a helium balloon, where I just felt really light and super floaty and very excited. And yeah, so the whole thing, feeling into it for me, was a conversation, not only between Sheila and I, because obviously I had asked her a question, but there were many conversations going on within me. And then also noticing what wanted to come in. And I'm really glad, by the way, that I went with it, because that felt really good. And that also taught me that it feels really bad to hold back, to repress what wants to shine. And thinking about it now, or feeling into it in this moment, it's really great preparation too, because there's a lot of rules that we've kind of instituted for no good reason that I can tell. And I think this is a really good time not to be worried about, oh, I wonder what people will think, or I wonder if this will break the rules. And so for me personally, that was pretty cool. Another thing in our conversations, that I got to look at something, ooh, what do I think of that? And so I think I'm going to let the worrying about what anybody thinks or has to say about something go for good, because this little exercise taught me a lot. Thank you.
Fun. Very fun.
Yeah, it was.
Well, very cool. All right, so let's hit pause. We'll have another inning. Go. All right, so we're back for another inning. I think Q3 or inning 1Q or 3Q or whatever. So Sheila's gonna pitch, and I'm gonna bat, and Lisa's gonna hold the envelope.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be quiet on purpose. I'm just trying to allow a question to come through, as I didn't prepare one, of course.
That's good. And you're just on the mound, right? Doesn't the pitcher scuff
Yeah,
the dirt?
I'm dusting off.
Little scratching, little spitting.
Yeah, let me adjust something.
One of the things that just came into is that any question that you feel or brush up against. So if a question is coming up and you think, oh, well, is that really a good enough question, or is that the right question? Or, if it's brushing up against you, then the question wants to come play.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, see there is question, but that one it's not suited for this sort of an inning, because I'm sure it's going to be a long, that actually has to be a conversation.
Well, you could throw it out and I'll just glance at the laces as it goes by with a very short wordage. How's that?
Okay. I can't even word that one, so that's not it. It's not coming out properly, so I can't do that. Okay, so wow, I don't guess I'm very good at this game at all, because nothing really is coming. Total silence. There's just total silence. I don't know what to do. That's so silly. Okay. All right. Yeah. I know that there have been times that you have shared that you're, exploring your multidimensionality during your business hours or work, the job. And it might seem seamless to others. Do you ever get so lost in what you're doing in other realms that you don't hear, or or is it just a seamless sort of return for you?
Return, or just the?
Well, because I guess I'm making some assumptions here, all on focus and attention, and so it has felt like you're off doing something else somewhere else, but you're continuing to do. You've mentioned things like in the greenhouse where it's rote activity or something that doesn't require you to be here now, so to speak. And so, but someone will walk up, let's say. I'm just wondering how easy it is for you to return from those and shift your focus and attention. What does that feel like? That's what I'd like to know. What does it feel like when that happens?
I'm going to go with the last question because there was a lot of questions. That's
hence why my show is called Conscious Conversation.
Well, it's interesting that you asked that because usually I would say it feels pretty smooth and pretty effortless and a pretty flow. Although the reason I'm answering it this way right this moment is we've had a lot of snow lately. Okay, well, we had just under 3 feet in like 3 days, so that's a lot lately. And There's, at the job I am, there's stuff I do in buildings, in different structures, outside, and a whole, so either to get from one to another, I got to go through the snow or drive through the snow or whatever. And so the reason I bring that up is because there's another, for me, nothing, it's not like everything just stops. Okay, well, it snowed 3 feet, so now you can't go off and talk or do multiple things at multiple times. But another component has been added from a linear aspect for me, is snow and ice all over the place. And so for me, the feeling has been a little bit disjointed. So I'm just going to take the question for the answer now. For the last week, it's been, everything has felt disjointed. And the main reason for that is because of the ice and snow and the slipperiness of it. And there's no place to kind of hop over an ice patch or a patch of snow, because as far as the eye can see, there's nothing but snow, you know. So I shattered my leg, I don't remember how many years ago, a number of years ago. And so when I would come back from something sometime, from being fully engrossed, attention focused someplace else, in addition to what I was doing here, I think a simple way to kind of euphemism is to my re-entry landing in how if I'm walking or standing or moving or something, might shift a little. And so I got really good at just compensating. And so you really wouldn't, unless you look at me, you most times wouldn't notice any difference in stride if I was walking or anything like that. But I have noticed, but I was good at that. But now that there's snow and ice as far as I can see, and I can't hop over anything, I may go to step somewhere, and if it in the physicality of the linear world rotates my leg that was hurt one way, that I want to adjust quickly. Anyways, so there's been a lot of sailing through the snow. As in, whee! Which has then made it so that whatever I was doing simultaneously with what I was doing here at the job, it's like there's turbulence on both planes or playing fields, or however you describe it. So that's how I'd answer it for right this moment. How it feels like other times, because I've gotten used to it, it feels.
In all those bodies, it's really, I didn't specify, but all the same bodies that you ask Lisa about is actually
right.
What your emotional body, your physical body, your etheric body.
The mental body, it's usually seamless, and it's seamless, and it feels seamless. So I can be having this conversation, this could be on a ship, and then I can be, working with something else, or someone knocks on my shoulder or the door or wherever it is and asks you something, and I can go, yeah, and I can still, so it's seamless. Again, what's interesting, I'm fascinated by this question, because in this last week, it has not been seamless, has not had the same seamless feel, because of the snow and some other things that kind of were precipitated by that, with some of the specific jobs and caregiving projects I need to do. And that's been noticed by at least one of the major beings on the job, that can't quite put their finger on it, but that it's not that it's seamless, because maybe they don't know that, I'm off here and off there. But so that's interesting. As far as what it feels like in my body, it's a sense of, and I'm talking about in general, of Maybe, you know, if you walk through and you might feel a current of air changing, or maybe from a very slight temperature degree, or maybe sometimes, I'm just trying to think of another way to describe it. Sometimes if there's a little bit of a wind, you know, if a wind gust comes and you can kind of feel it, so you might change. You're walking and it's blowing a little bit, so you might change how you lean into it. So there's a little bit of that feeling. And when I focus more, I think most of what you were asking is if I'm coming, quote unquote, back fully to here. There's a sense of, you know, like if you take a shirt or something, or some kind of clothing out of the dryer, and you know it was nice and comfy and you had it right, and then it's a little tighter, snug. It has that feeling as well. So that's the mental, and that's the emotional. That's the emotional, that's the physical. Emotional, I would say mostly it's flow. And this is sometimes on the emotional aspect, there's, you know, if you're laughing really hard, or you've been playing and you're kind of flushed with the fun and the play, and then you walk into, this is a kind of a funny thing, but I'll go with it. You walk into a library and you're kind of up and happy, and and they kind of look at you and go, shh, kind of a thing like that. So sometimes it's a little bit of that. That's the best emotional that I can describe. And energetically, I would say mostly in flow, occasionally, depending on not so much what I'm doing, because I can, my field can go out and set the field, groom and clean, and, we're doing baseball, the dusting off all the bases and stuff. So I already do that, and I'm continually doing that. But if someone at work, if someone has either habitually or for that particular moment is in a very dense, discordant, or very constricted space, I will feel energetic, that like there's like snapping, like almost sparks of friction. I don't have the friction, but it's like there's friction coming off. So the charge, it may be like I'm not sure how to describe it, sparks charging off of each other.
I get a sense you're speaking of like a piezoelectric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. But that was a cool question, because right now I hadn't thought about how, there was this, and then right in this past few days. So that's cool, because I got to notice and quantify those differences.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, that's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. All right. So, that's good. You what? Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to ask Sheila something. I wanted to know if in the beginning, when you were having trouble, could you feel any support?
Oh, I could feel support. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Feel support. And the frustration that I felt was my own. Yeah. I was very clear on that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was sending some assistance, and so for me, it's just nice to know. I wonder if that's ever noticed or felt. And so this is a really fun game. Thank you.
Well, to be clear, I felt support not only from you specifically, but I felt it from BZ as well, and surprisingly, a third.
Ooh.
myself.
That's awesome.
I actually felt it from the larger me.
Oh,
Yeah. Because at first I started to panic a little.
yes.
Why am I not getting anything? Why is this? What's going on here? I'm sure everyone. And then of course too, the momentary, I'm messing up the game for everybody, and all of that. And then just all of a sudden it was like, no, you're not. This is fine. Just calm. And I think that's part of what I had to do was just calm down.
Yeah, I did.
Calm the little me down a little bit. And so,
Because
but then,
sorry, I'm interrupting.
no, go ahead.
I have to say that was a fabulous question. Oh. And the reason I'm sharing this is in case anybody wonders how you can support. What I was doing is saying to Sheila, you've got this, relax, just the way I would out loud. I just sent her encouragement and patience. Like I wasn't thinking, well, hurry up. Well, what's taking so long? What? And then I saw a little spark of her thinking, feeling, oh, I think something's coming, or I could see something was there. And so then I said, you got this. That's it. And then you kind of were like, oh, I don't know. And I said, trust yourself. And you said, well, here it is. And he went right out with it. And it was almost like we were talking in real time. Right. And so I just wanted to notice that I noticed something different in this go around for myself even. And that I could feel our big selves helping too. Like I don't know, this is a very special game. So thank you. This is really good.
One of the visuals that came for me at we're talking about this specifically in the beginning, right? When you were we're talking about this, Sheila. That
I'm gonna try to get some light on me. Hold on a second. I'll go ahead.
Smarmy was running around to all the big windows of the TV studio going, I got this. Let me in. I got a question. And at the moment that you felt you were, I could feel you acknowledging the help from Lisa and help from me, but what I wanted to call out is the help from yourself was, and this is paraphrasing, but what the part of that assistance came through was feel into your heart, is that more comfortable than the other space? And it's almost like you did the same thing, just with your head nod and the chin, like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Awesome. Oh, I like this game, BZ. No, seriously, because this is by not having the topic or the questions or anything in mind, and it is something that, I mean, obviously seeing how, someone who doesn't have their ego completely in check, right? I can see where this would be very much a muscle building game. And because there is no right or wrong, because there really is, I mean, come on, there's not really any rules. And so I feel like this could be a very valuable tool for anyone and everyone. And certainly me. I want to play this more often.
Yeah, well, one of the things that strikes me is that it's play. Mm-hmm. Where we're getting together and there's a bit of a structure, right? We're not just standing someplace and going, okay, well, what do we want to play? So, we're going to play quantum baseball. What's that? I don't know, quantum baseball. How do you play it? Well, you got a pitcher and someone hits the ball and someone holds the field. How do you do that? I don't know. You got a pitcher and it, right? I mean, so we have a bit of a container for it. right?
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. There's a bit of a linear reach back for just loosely, very loosely on the container to connect. And I can actually see now that that's on purpose, because it's a helpful frame of reference, because we still have the linear mind and we still have, that, component. So maybe quantum baseball can't be played any other way but to have part of that component to it. So yeah, we make it up as we go, because that's what play is.
Yep.
And maybe that's another kind of tangential part about the baseball, but baseball, has taken on a whole different feel and character than, when it started, even in its more professional iterations when it first started, So what I'm getting is this, the chatter on the field and in the stands, and it's this, this excitement because, hey, the real game's back in town about how we can pitch and bat the ball, because I see the balls, I see the pitch being released and the ball as it comes forward and being winged being the question, in this, and the lighting on the field and the whole feeling on the field, which is the holding of the envelope. There's, if I was to make the video that's coming out of me, so that you could see it, it's very magical. There's a lot of effervescence. There's a lot of feeling where you can feel the different, if you were to paint it, you'd have the stands and you have the outfield, and you can see the different players that are, Field of Dreams comes to mind, where, all of a sudden they're in the cornfield, and these players that had crossed over walk through the corner and they come on to play. It's that sense. So it is, and in this thing that I read, in the dugout, that's our whole team.
Well, while you were speaking, and this actually came through when we talked about it once before, and we've talked a little bit about this, but I see a lot in the baseball. Okay, it's quantum, yes, and baseball, but there are 9 players on the field. Well, there's actually 9 players right here.
That's right.
We haven't discussed that a lot, and maybe that's a conversation down the road, but we have talked about the fact that each one of us is a trinity. The physical body, which also consists of the ego, and the soul coming in, creating the third. So there's actually, I am the Trinity. Mm-hmm. Each one of you are as well. Therefore, there are 9 here. Right. And so that felt huge in and of itself.
And as we were playing with that before, another day just off camera, you also have the 3 and the 3. You've got the 6 with where there's, well, you have the 9 always, right? But you also have separations of the 6 when the ball is being pitched and it's about to be batted. So there is that.
Right. There's the 3, 6, 9. It's played because you've got the other 3. The other 3 of the 9 is fielding.
Right.
So you have the 6 that are doing the interacting with the batter and the pitcher. So yeah, I mean, it's all. It feels bigger than I have the words to share at this moment. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my thought is that we play it another time and maybe put a couple of, play practice sessions, whatever you call it. I don't know what is pickup game. Is that just basketball, or can you have a pickup game in baseball? I don't know. Anyways, so we're just, we're going to have a couple more of these, but I love the idea of, just posting a flyer and who wants to come and play.
I love that idea.
Oh, me too.
Well, thanks for coming. It's very cool.
Thanks for thinking it up.
Yeah, and including us.
Yeah.
See, that's why I always say okay instead of what?
Thank you.
Okay.
It's appreciated.
All right. See y'all later.
Mwah.